This week on the MMA History Podcast, we sit down with Kimo Leopoldo. In 1994, he showed us that no man was invincible by putting a beatdown on Royce Gracie. He gets into that and the rest of his career. Side note, look at our pinned comments, hit the link, check out the trailer to the Rafael Torre documentary. A $10 donation gets you the sticker and the yellow card. How can you turn down an offer like that? Enjoy the show. Welcome to the show. I am MMA insider and Herb Dean's dog sitter, Joey Venti, and you're listening to the MMA History Podcast, the only podcast dedicated 100% to the preservation of mixed martial arts history. Interviews and stories about the early days of MMA direct from the men who lived it. Hundreds of interviews, thousands of hours of research, all conducted by the most obsessed mind in the business, the MMA detective Mike Davis. Join us as we document the history of the sport we all love. Welcome back to the MMA History Podcast. I am Joey Venti. With me, as always, the MMA detective Mike Davis. Our guest today is UFC veteran and MMA legend Kimo Leopoldo. Thank you for being with us.
Right on, bro.
Kimo, we've been trying to get you for a minute, bro. You are an absolute legend of the sport. Are you one of those guys that still gets recognized years later?
Occasionally, yeah.
I can see that. You were one of those fighters that like maximized every minute of camera time that was on you, and it was like you like forever embedded yourself in memories. It's pretty incredible. All right, so our first question: Huntington Beach in general, tons of stud fighters. John Lewis, John Lober, Tank Abbott, lots of Paul Herrera, like the list kind of goes on and on. Tiki Ghosn. You came out of Huntington Beach, but there was a rumor that both you and John Lewis went to grammar school together.
Yeah. We went to I grew up in Hawaii, so did John, and we went to elementary. We went to Mililani, Waiana Elementary School together, and we were actually good friends.
All right.
Was that the Big Island, Kimo?
No, the Oahu.
Oahu, okay.
Yeah.
In regards to fighting, we're talking, I mean, we're pre-teen years. Did both of you guys have reputations of fighting at this time, or did that come later on?
He did.
Really?
He did already. Oh, he was smashing. He had quick hands, and he was lining it up. He was awesome. He kicked ass, man, and he could dance too. So.
Yeah,
and back
that's
then,
what John Ferretti told us, that he was a hell of a dancer.
Oh, he's a hell of a dancer, bro. So I didn't really get into scrapping until I moved to Waianae, like high school. So a little bit later. Yeah.
So what's your entry into combat sports?
My entry into combat sports was I became a Christian, and I wanted to do something that was positive with my life, that wasn't working in clubs or working for drug dealers. So I saw it as I said, Lord, you get me to this, I'll fight for you, be for you, and wait for it, and the rest was history.
There was a Black Belt magazine interview, I think it was Black Belt, where you talked about working for a drug dealer as a debt collector. I'm not sure, was that guy Joe Son? Because we've heard a lot of rumors that he was involved in that stuff. So
Joe Son, actually, bro, it was part of the reason that introduced me to Christ. He brought me around people and church and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got to Christ, to tell you the truth. And he was a little bit from the darker element, but he wasn't really, he escaped that element when I met him. I met him in a club, but he wasn't like hanging out. He was solo. He came by himself, left by himself. So he wasn't part of any of that.
But you were a debt collector at one time, pre-UFC, correct?
Yes, I was. I was making some money, Really, I didn't really have too many outlets of making money, and that kind of was a pretty decent money. I didn't get in trouble, so.
Joey is checking all the boxes, and like if you look at like Ronald Jun, he also was having some trouble, went to church and became a fighter. Like
Yeah.
You know, it's there's something with Hawaii and becoming a fighter while listening to the gospel. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Right on, bro.
Now, prior to all that, you did wrestle in high school, right? I found some records that
Yeah,
said
yeah.
you placed at the
I
state
wrestled in high
tournament.
school and I did pretty good. I took like third in state in Hawaii, like sophomore year. And then I really I left after football my uh, junior year, so I didn't wrestle. I went to Washington State and I won the division in my what is it like your league, and then I went to semifinals. I took that, and then I went to state and I got smashed.
Huh.
I got smashed in state. It was a whole different
Okay.
level.
Yeah. Yeah. And when do you move to California?
I moved to California. 90, 90, 90 maybe the 90s, the early 90s, like 91, 90, maybe 90.
Okay. Yeah, you were by all accords, you were a very popular bouncer in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, I don't know if there's no Pimp and Ho or Club Rubber they have in Vegas. It started at our club 5902 in Huntington Beach, same time as UFCs and stuff.
So Joey, Club Rubber.
Oh, yes. Rafael Torre. He was always, yeah.
Did you ever run into Rafael Torre at Club Rubber?
No. I'd have to see him. I don't think so.
He was the fake black belt involved in a
fake Brazilian.
Was the journalist, worked for King of the Cage, worked for Abu Dhabi Combat Club, Ed Combat. Kind of got exposed, was involved in a murder. No? Okay.
I'm familiar with a little bit of the name, but not the guy because I wasn't no part of King of the Cage or Cage, whatever. So I didn't really get exposed to that guy. And fake people like that, if I spot him, I'm on the opposite side.
So Club Rubber, was it kind of like a swingers type place, or was it like an ecstasy type bar?
Ecstasy club, yeah.
Okay.
And it was dressed pretty like a Pimp and Ho, or Club Rubber was like rubber, whatever you could stick to yourself. Girls wore something to cover their nipples and pretty much naked. Bodies too. There were some hot women there. That's why I came to California.
Right. So did you witness UFC 1? Did you watch UFC 1 on pay-per-view or on VHS cassette?
VHS.
Okay.
Yeah, a friend brought it in. His name was Eric, and he actually trained with Royce. I guess he was Royce's weight trainer or something like that. Really? I was not going to do it. I wasn't watching it going, yeah, I'm going to do that. I was watching that going, dang. Oh wow. It was radical. It wasn't something I was like interested in doing right when I saw it.
Okay. Well, at UFC 3, it was rumored, or prior to UFC 3, that Joe San presented yourself to Art Davie as a black belt, and Joe was the reason, the heavy push for you to participate in the UFC.
You had to be a black belt in a martial art back then to even get considered. So through Joe's brother, with my skill level, they just gave me a black belt Taekwondo. And Joe San is a salesman. He is good. He just told me, Kimo, zip it, stand there, just don't smile, and he'll say the rest. He brought some chick to hold his briefcase, and he sold it.
I tell you, like the rumor was that you ran into UFC executives at a coffee shop, and Joe San went all in order to get you into UFC 3. Is there truth to that rumor?
Well, the truth is he went all in, but it wasn't at no shop. We went to our Davie's office over there in Orange, I think it was. Later on, what Art told me was that, Kimo, you look good, so we don't know really. But we gotta have some sharks and some guppies. So we knew you're gonna be one or the other.
Did they make you go and roll with Rorion or at Horion's gym prior?
No.
Okay.
But after I fought Royce, we went to his gym and Joe San called him out. he wanted to fight Royce because they used to have an open challenge and they didn't have it anymore.
Joe wanted to fight Royce?
Joe went there to fight him, bro. He was serious. He was serious. He was a character, man. But he was about it. He can really fight. What happened to him in the UFC was karma. What he did came back to him because he can really fight in the streets. Paul Varelans kicked his ass, though.
Yeah, and Paul Herrera kicked his ass in the street.
Yeah,
Really?
right in front of the gym. Took him down, gouged him.
Thumb locks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Herrera failed to mention that in our interview with him. Oh,
Yeah, he did.
oh, interesting. So, there was a rumor that, okay, we're just going to be direct here. We're going to rip the Band-Aid off. So right before you go to UFC 3, Chris Brennan tells us a story that Joe Son paid for private lessons for Randy Ziegler to take with Rickson, and then he would come back and show you everything that he learned.
That's not true.
Okay.
Randy was a true Christian, and we trained at the Thunder Center, which was a Christian facility for Calvary Chapel wrestling team, but they also had Kempo and other martial arts. And Randy came in there, and he was just showing me, giving me a couple tips, certain things, but this was after I fought UFC, and he didn't train, Rickson didn't give us no. It doesn't matter anyway because that stuff it takes a while to learn it. You got to learn how to understand it before you even learn moves and stuff. So whatever he was showing me, it was what he showed me. He was sticking his fingers in our throat. That was what he was really showing us.
So pre-UFC 3, did you have anybody show you any formal jiu-jitsu training at all or submission defense?
I had no clue what it was all about, other than watching it with that guy Eric talking about it and watching it. I had no clue until Royce. Then I was like, wow, that stuff really works.
All right. You get the call for UFC 3, and the rumor was at the hotel prior to the event, prior to even weigh-ins, that the Gracies were upset with you being involved in the tournament, and there was almost a fight in the lobby.
No.
Okay. All right.
The Gracies had open tournaments. They had, they even had a challenge at their gym at the time where they knew that their style was so
effective
above everybody else that they, and like I said, it takes years to learn it. You can't learn it in a day. Somebody can't show you a move, and unless you have an understanding of foundation already, then it really doesn't help you at all.
Okay.
It might confuse you.
All right. So you get to weigh-ins, and then they have the pull for the tournament. Could you explain the process to us from your eyes?
Right. So a week before the fight, everybody's walking around. No one knows who's going to fight who. So we're sizing people up, and it ain't too comfortable, So the day before the fight, they get one of those things that you put the numbers in, and you spin it, and they're pulling names. They got Royce's name at the top, and they got Shamrock's at the bottom. Everybody in between is getting pulled onto that. And so they call everybody's name. The last one to get pulled for Royce was me. And I was like, right on. I deal with it right off the bat.
Well, you get to see what you're made of right away, like immediately.
Right away. No messing around.
I mean, Mike, this is a crazy tournament. Like Emmanuel Yarborough is getting pulled out of that that raffle. A 618-pound dude.
Yeah, like I'd be in the lobby, like we're sizing everybody up. Well, Yarborough, like you need different angles to really size him up because he'd be like, wait a minute, there's more of him.
When I say sizing somebody up, I'm talking about how they walk, how they move, movements, what their body type is. So what could be advantage of that body type? What could be disadvantage of that body type? Are they aggressive? Are they calm? What's their demeanor? Yarborough was big. I actually watched his fight before my fight because I had to see it. Him and Hackney.
Okay.
It messed me up because there's a time when they went out of the cage. So when Royce pushed me out of the cage, I lift my hands up so I could split us up and start us again like they did with him. but they didn't start us again. They pushed us back in the cage, and he was on me then. I couldn't get him off me.
All right. So is there anybody that you were hoping to get or somebody that you did not want going into the tournament pre pulling of the numbers?
Going into the tournament, even after the tournament, any of my fights, all of my fights, there's nobody that I've ever wanted to fight. There's nobody I didn't want to fight. I never picked my fights. I never, I just let it happen the way it happened. And I never fought to be a champion. I fought for the fight, that time, and that was it. Hopefully do my best and have another fight after that.
Okay. All right. So heading into this, your pre-fight promo was that you traveled the country fighting for Jesus Christ. Kimo, I'm going to be honest with you. I watched that thing and I was like, wait a minute. He's traveling the country beating people up for Jesus Christ. Yes. Yes.
I'm in.
I'm in. I was immediately in at that point. I thought it was great.
Right, you're cool like that, brother.
Yeah.
Cool
So
like
how true to life was that, and how much of a put on was it as well? Because the UFC kind of expected that in order to help sell their product.
So when you become a Christian, there's a scripture that says, "Go out, preach the world to all the gospel to the world." So that's what I was doing, but I would, wherever I went is where I was doing it. It wasn't like a job or a pre-planned schedule or anything like that. It was just my life was that way now.
Okay. All right. So now we run into part 2, Joey. They're trying to, from the UFC side, they're trying to separate themselves from pro wrestling.
Right.
Can we describe Kimo's walk to the cage for our audience, Joe?
The most WWF thing ever. Carries a full-sized crucifixion cross to the ring and had to smuggle it in. UFC was not approving this, right?
Yeah. So please bring us through how you got the cross through security.
Okay, so like I said, my thing was to represent Christ. So my Bible study, a bunch of people from my Bible study made that cross. We brought it in there, and we didn't show it to them till right before, and they were going to let us use it. And I said, this is the reason I'm here. Right there, the fight is secondary. I'm here for that. You guys don't let us, see you later. And they were kind of pissed, but they let us do it.
So David Isaacs said that you guys brought it in as exercise equipment to help get you ready for the event. Is that true?
I'm not sure because Joe-san handled that, and he had it pretty hidden in the bag. You couldn't tell what it was, so I don't know exactly what was said. That was details for him to deal with.
Okay. You were just kind of focused on your fight. Okay. Okay. And Joe-san, was he also heavily involved in the bar scene at this time? You were bouncing, obviously.
He would. Huntington Beach was like a bar scene in itself, the whole town. But he just would show up now and then and hang out. He never drank. He just hanged out, was a character, and he'd take off by himself.
I talked to him about 2 months ago. He's an interesting guy. He's an interesting guy.
He's a trip.
So
but I never would have a clue of that part of him that, the darkness. I didn't know he had darkness.
Yeah. The rumor that we had heard that he was heavily involved in, the drug activity or certain nefarious things. I mean, not what he was arrested for, but just other black market things in order to make ends meet.
Yeah, when he was younger, he was in a gang over there in Garden Grove, and so he was a different person. I didn't know him at all at that time. I really didn't know too much about his previous life. I saw pictures and his reputation, but I really didn't know too much because I'm not Hawaii don't have gangs, so I don't really know too much about gangs.
Right.
That's not my scene. So.
Right. Yeah. I get that. Like, where did his money come from?
He made movies. He was making money.
Back then?
Back then. I mean, before me, I don't know. But right around the same time as me, he was making movies. He was getting some good parts. He was at a role. He was going for it, man. It was happening for him, and it
Yeah,
just
that's
dried up.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting guy. All right, so you get picked for Royce. Was there anybody videotaping your movements? I know that it happened in UFC 1 and a little bit in 2. Was there anybody trying to spy on what it is you were doing and taking that information back and bringing it to the Gracie family?
Not really, because we didn't really show anything. I mean, I lifted weights, I did some cardio, maybe some kind of kata type of things, but no sparring. In fact, I didn't really even spar for this fight. No practicing any moves because I didn't really know any moves. So it was just what I knew from the streets. There was no there was no
Awesome.
technique to it.
All
So
right,
there's nothing from the scene.
how far out from UFC 3 did you get the call confirming that you were fighting in it?
Maybe 3 weeks.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see
No one
that.
knew how to train. No one knew how to train for that back then. So it wasn't like you needed a whole lot of time for it to get ready for it.
Did you have dealings with Bob Meyerowitz at all?
I saw him at the party when he gave up the checks, but no, I didn't really have too much communication with that guy.
Okay. What about Art Davie?
Our Davey a little bit. Our Davey's a little bit. He's a cool guy. He's a good guy. Our Davey.
Okay.
Good salesman. Good promoter.
All right. So you get Royce Gracie. That's your draw. Your walk to the cage is absolutely. I remember getting phone calls about this like a week later from people that you had watched it on delay, all freaking out. Like I think it really set you apart from everybody else, but forever memorable. One of the greatest cage walks ever. And you get Royce. How would you describe the pre-fight with Royce, like the walk to the ring?
I really can't get you to the same place I was at. Words can't really get you there. Intense is not a good enough word. Nervous ain't a good enough word. It was just everything slowed down. I could feel everything. I felt everything, like eyes on me. What people are watching me back home. Just all of that stuff flooded your head. And I didn't know about relaxing. I tried to hype myself up like football, and just so it was just too much. It was overwhelming, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
I tell you, unlike some of the past opponents of Royce, even future opponents, you definitely were not afraid of him.
No.
Like you didn't
He's not Mike Tyson.
yeah.
He's not gonna take your head off. You know, he's gonna choke you, try to choke you. I was like, I never experienced it, so I didn't really. I don't have a fear for it, but it's like he's not. I didn't know he's not dangerous to me. Somebody could take your head off.
Right.
Like a Tyson.
Yeah.
Like a tank.
Yeah. Huh, that's really interesting. So the fight takes place at 24 seconds into the cage, or into the match. The cage door opens, and they have to restart you guys. It almost appears that Royce takes a better grip or a better position than he was prior.
Yeah, I watched Keith Hackney fighting Emmanuel Yarbrough, and I saw them go out of the cage, and they restarted him. So when we went out of the cage, I lift my hands up so they could split us apart. Is when Royce got a really tight grip on me. He got really in. Now he was in on me. Before I had space, so I was catching him with some stuff. But once he got in on me, he was like glue. Couldn't get him off me.
Yeah, you were applying some early ground and pound.
Mm-hmm.
And
just pound wherever it went, just pound.
Kind of took us back at one point too.
No one went to the ground back then. No one went to the ground. No one knew wrestling could fight. No one knew anything about submissions. It was strictly when it started to get on the ground in the street, bring him back up.
Yeah, Joey, it was this was a street fight that happened in the UFC cage for sure.
Yeah, but it was a street fight with a guy who had a wrestling background, which was kind of rare in the UFC at that point. Like it showed in the cage that you'd spent some time on the mats.
Right on. I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, like certain balances, certain things just came. Like when he took me down, he slapped me on the side of my head, and I was like, oh, that's when I rolled over and got on top of him. So the bridge, like wrestling the bridge, So certain things I knew.
I think people always say, "Oh, your long hair," because Royce was using, the length of your hair to move your positioning. I think had you been up against the fence wall and kept your pressure and just held onto that fence wall, I think that fight would have been different as well, rather than being away from it.
Hindsight, it was but that when he did pull my hair, I was fighting it by pulling myself back. So I was choking myself, and I wouldn't realize it until I was choking. I was choking myself, so that's taking away air, and I didn't see it as cheating because there was no way to be disqualified in that fight. You can do anything you want.
Joey, can you imagine entering into that? Hey, Mom, Dad, guess what I'm doing this weekend?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it takes a special kind.
There's a few. I mean, look at the names of the early fighters. The Gary Goodridge, the Don Fries, even Severn. Severn sounds like a softie on the outside the ring, but when he got in that cage, it was not the same guy.
Fierce competitor. Yeah, fierce competitor. Yeah,
yes.
For sure. Yeah, Coleman as well. I mean, Coleman showed there was levels to that, to the intensity of the game. Let's talk about afterward. So Royce obviously gets his hand raised, arguably his hardest challenge ever. What was the locker room like afterward?
I was trying to breathe, man. I was having a hard time breathing. As soon as I heard he threw in the towel, I got up, and I don't know how I got the energy, but I ran in there, and I was saying, Jesus. But I wanted people to see that I was okay. I wasn't messed up. So, somehow I could lose a fight and still win the respect of that match. So I got a lot of love after that.
Did you know prior that he was going to be throwing in the towel prior to his next fight?
No, I didn't. I didn't know. If I would have known he was as messed up as it was, I would have just held on. That armbar he had I didn't feel it. I just felt like this is a good enough excuse for me to get out of this cage and not be embarrassed. And if you look at the way I tapped, it ain't a tap like that. It's a tap with my fingers. Because I just wanted to get out. I was tired, man. I was
exhausted. Tired. Yeah.
That's why when I got him up, behind him, normally I would have picked him up and smashed him. But I didn't do it because I'm holding on, trying to check my breath. And that's how he fell into that armbar. And it didn't hurt. It's just like I was stuck. And I was like, this is a good excuse to get out of this cage and not be embarrassed. And so I tapped.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they say cardio.
No.
I mean, if you run out of gas, it tends to change things within a fight, especially the mentality. Renzo Gracie had to carry Royce from the cage. Was there any interaction between you and the Gracie family, or before or even after, in regards to this?
Before, no. After, Joe-san was kind of pissed at what happened, so he wanted to go to we went to the dojo, and we tried to do their open challenge that they have. I mean, I wasn't going to, Joe-san was going to scrap him, so he went to Horian, where's Royce? I want to fight him, and Horian says they don't do that no more. Now that he's fighting, they don't do that. So it kind of, they associated me with Joe-san, so they put me with that. And I don't think they had too good of a liking for me back then.
Okay. Yeah. So after Royce throws in the towel, it's initially recorded as a loss, but then moved to a no contest. It took away the opportunity for the alternate to be slid in. Did you have any feelings about that? You never said anything publicly, but there really wasn't a lot of outlets to
You know,
voice your
my
opinion.
my friend's neighbor one day came to me. He goes, "Hey, Kimo, you know that because of you they got rules?" I go, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Because of you they got rules." I go, "What do you mean?" Well, before that, the alternate would just get in there without even, and after you, they had to fight each other. So that was a rule. I go, "Oh yeah,
Yep.
right. Thank you." Um, I didn't think nothing about at the fight because I was just exhausted. It was everything. But later on, when people fill your head with, man, they should have this like you, and if but regardless, whatever happened, I still got a really good promotion out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Did all right. This is from left field. So the rumor was, and that's what we're here. That we're here just to kind of clear things up. Joey and I gather a lot of things, and some of it's true, some of it's not true. And from your words, obviously, things get straightened out. So the rumor was you ran to the ring after Royce throws in the towel against Harold Howard. Joey and it's one of our favorite fighters.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
You celebrate, and the Gracies told like Horian, and I should say Horian, he's pretty much the catalyst behind it, talks to the powers that be and says, if Kimo is allowed in based on this disrespect, the Gracie family will pull out of this, and it forced you to write a letter of apology.
First time I heard that.
Okay, good.
No, my letter of apology was because it was so misconstrued of what really happened and what my intentions were. So I wanted them to let them know that, hey, I didn't go in there with intentions to disrespect you. I just wanted them to see me okay, and I just wanted to say Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah. Joe Son is the one who turned it into a beef. Not letting it go. And that's
Joey,
why he fought at number 4. Because after number 3, he told him, if you guys want to see Kimo again, you're putting me in number 4. That's why he fought number 4.
Okay, so the return of the carrying of the cross is what we saw in number 4.
Yep.
It had a much different outcome, though, Joey. And I'm talking only the carrying of the cross, not the match.
Oh, yeah. Wore him out.
He was so...
Very, very different frame, Joe Son and Kimo.
It was a smaller cross, too.
Oh, no.
It was a smaller cross, not the same one?
Yeah, it was a smaller cross.
I didn't know that.
I would say...
If you look at any fight after that, I never carry the cross again. I do a couple other things, but I never carry the cross again.
You didn't need to. You made your point. You're burned into legend on that one.
You know what, though? You had like the ring card girls holding up Bible verses, or I mean, I shouldn't say ring card girls. I would say girls, bikini clad women holding up different passages of the Bible. Joey, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's such a contradiction, and it scrambles your brain watching it. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Great television.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you quickly. Go ahead.
I was 100% sincere when I did that, And
I believe it.
I never carried again because I started making little bad choices in my life. So to represent at that level to me is you come at my house anytime, open the door, and I'm not doing anything that's going against the word or what I believe in. So that's why I never carried the cross again. I still believe in Christ, but I was doing little mistakes here and there that I didn't feel I could represent to that level.
Yeah, I get that. You became very, very popular, including in Japan. So contacts in Japan start reaching out to you at this point. Who's the conduit? Do they reach out to you direct, or is there a manager, or is there a third party?
Didn't let anybody get to me directly. He was overprotective, and he did everything. I mean, behind closed doors, negotiated everything and did everything.
So December 10th, 1994, you fight in K1 against Pat Smith. Pat Smith is an absolute savage at this point. He's a menace. He's a wild card. Certainly somebody like that. He could take. You said being choked out is completely different than getting your lights turned off, which is absolutely correct. This is the latter. Oh yeah.
He was coming off the UFC victory where he got Scott Morris.
Yep.
He won. He beat Andy Hoog in K1. Just dropped on first round. So he had some momentum going into that fight.
So you had Pat Smith, and you actually pulled his hair several times in this fight.
Yep. If you don't learn from my mistakes, I'll teach it to him.
And you also had a cross carried to the ring at this point. So
yes.
did you have that made in Japan, or did you fly it to?
Yeah, they made it in Japan. It was like I said, I don't know what. Yeah, they made that in Japan.
It was like the surface itself was like a boxing ring with walls attached to it, like cage walls attached to it. It was like a dog kennel almost that you guys are fighting in.
That was a real cage match where the cage comes from the top of the stage or whatever, and it drops into the ring. So it was like a real cage match. It was like how wrestling calls their cage matches. And
it was backyard
was,
fencing. Yeah. It was. And there was no pads. There was no padding at all.
No padding. There was a wood floor with a canvas on it. So I had quite a bit of strawberries for that fight.
How does this fight get presented to you, out of curiosity?
It got presented as a contract for a 4-fight deal. First fight, Pat Smith, and then whatever happened from there was up in the air. And it was like $200,000 contract. So that money compared to the $500 I made from the UFC was a big difference.
You only made $500 to fight Royce Gracie?
I made $1,000, but Joe Sonomy halved it.
50% manager fee? I hope that included the cross.
It was a partnership that was based on it wasn't based on the amount of money. It was based on like what we were doing. Now he was going to fight. Now I was going to get 50% of his purse. We weren't. I wasn't expecting him to get top dollar, but it was just a 50-50 type of partnership where the money wasn't really the. He got me on that one. He got me on that.
I mean, Kimo, if you're going 50% on Joe San, like I don't. I'm going to draw a circle on the ground. You're going to get down to your underwear, and I'm going to show you where your problematic areas are, and you're going to work on those. You know what I mean? Like if you're taking 50% of me, and I'm getting 50% of you, we're going to have that conversation.
Yeah.
He could fight. So what happened in the cage was he gave up, and when he gave up, me and him was never the same. We were never the same after that. That's when I started separating from him. I didn't go back and fight. I fought, I think, one more fight in K1. I didn't obligate that contract. Joe San had to fulfill it. And me and him, I split from him. In fact, I started training up in Seattle for a second with Matt Hume in Peru for a little while. And then when I came back after that UFC in Puerto Rico, I started training with Joe Moreira because of what happened over there in Puerto Rico.
Okay. Hey, let's go a little at a time, dude. It's incredibly fascinating. All right. So after Pat Smith, the rumor is you start training over at J Sect with your old elementary school friend, John Lewis. Is that true?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, it is true.
With Andre Pederneiras as well.
Who?
Andre Pederneiras?
Yeah, there was a few people there. There was Rico every once in a while, Rico Rodriguez. There was Eastman, the Beast Eastman.
Oh,
he was there.
Wow.
So, and then we were jumping in that cage, and we were all doing round robins together. So it was actually a good time.
I can see that. And then December 16th, 1994, you pull into UFC 4, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Keith Hackney is your opponent.
What?
I fought that Japanese guy.
Wait, where am I going? Joe.
No. Hackney fought Joe San.
Oh, wait. Joey. Wait, hold up.
Yeah, Joe San got
That's a yellow
Got you,
card.
buddy.
That's
Yellow
it,
card.
dude. That's me. I just got yellow carded. All right. Keith Hackney fights Joe Son. You walk out with him in a corner.
Yep.
That is the infamous ball punching
Yep.
match.
Karma got him right there, man.
Yeah, it did.
And he
Did
quit
you?
because of choke. You see that choke he put on him? A choke like this.
Yeah.
And he tapped from that. So we were never the same after that, man. Because he didn't even give me half of his money. And he only got
didn't?
$1,000. No, he didn't. And he got $1,000. And he didn't give me half of that. So it was like I wasn't with him anymore after that.
It's almost like he didn't respect you then.
Totally. It was I don't know, he was hard to understand because every once in a while he'd do something that make you go, what the hell was that about? But then yet he would do some stuff that was like righteous. So it was like kind of like I really don't know how to explain that. It's like he would do some really right on things and had some like do some really good deeds, like help people or like but then he'd do some really weird stuff like get in front of everybody butt naked. And I was like, what the hell is that about? So it was like kind of strange, but never was just
a little lapse in judgment every once in a while. Okay. He represented Joe Sando, which
The art he
pride comes before a fall.
created or made up.
Yeah.
Made it up. Pride comes before a fall.
Was
He was full of
Chuck Zito in the corner at this point?
I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing him yet. No.
It was you and somebody else. I have it bookmarked as possibly Chuck Zito. I couldn't figure that out. March 3rd, 1995, you go to K1 final elimination in Japan. Masaki Sataki is your opponent. It's a straight kickboxing bout. So Japan seems to have kind of understood what Kimo was and was interested in bringing you over.
I never put gloves on until I got in the ring with Sataki. I never put those kind of gloves on. Ever.
Really?
Ever. Wow. Yeah. I was like, what the hell are these things? And it's kind of hard when you first put them on. It almost feels like you got to throw roundhouse punches. So I was like, but it didn't. I was focused to fight, so it really didn't matter to me. And I never sparred for that fight. I never just showed up.
How did K1 pay back then?
Cash.
We hear that a lot in Japan. It was cash.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And I mean, Nate Stein, Gary Goodridge, look what he did. He ended up being just a brawler. He kicked Don Fry in the face and knocked him out. I mean, he became a successful kickboxer.
Yeah, you know, it's like they didn't limit you to where you're at. They even pulled you over to pro wrestling. I really wish they'd do that today. You know, truth be told.
They made their cards were fixed, so they might have a karate card, a karate fight, a judo fight, a MMA fight, a shoot, and a wrestling match. So, yeah.
Is this where you connect with? Is this where you connect with Matt Hume?
No, I was with Matt Hume prior to Shamrock. I was not with Matt Hume after Shamrock.
Okay, but this was prior to Shamrock because it's in Japan, and then you fight for the UFCF, which is Matt Hume's organization.
Yes, Pet Creation.
Yeah, so that's September 8th, 1995. You fought Fred Floyd in a rematch against Pat Smith.
No, I fought Fred Floyd. I didn't fight Pat Smith ever again.
Really?
It's on
Tapology and Sherdog that you fought Pat Smith a second time.
No.
Okay. Tell me again.
Fred Floyd, big old 360 pound.
Joey, to his credit, it looks like it's a tournament, obviously, because he's got 2 fights in there. I couldn't find Pat Smith's first opponent.
Neither could I.
Yeah.
Same thing. But John Lewis and Carl Franks are they fight earlier. So does Orlando Reed.
Yeah.
I trained with him for a bit.
Yeah.
I trained with him for a bit.
With Orlando Wheat? Wait, you trained with Orlando Wheat for a little bit?
No, I trained with Carl Franks over in Hawaii a little bit.
Okay.
And then he went over to AMC Kickboxing in Seattle with Matt Hume. and Haru was that.
He was a catch wrestler, right?
He was a jiu-jitsu guy who
Oh,
fought MMA, or it wasn't even MMA back then. It was NHB, the old far. So
right.
yeah,
Yeah, I like Carl Franks. He's an old school cat.
Yeah.
So you hook up with Matt Hume. Do you stay up there and live up there
I
for a
lived up
little
there
bit?
for a little bit, maybe 6, 8 months or something.
Yeah.
And I can't handle Seattle. I lived there before. I finished school up there, and I went to University of Washington for a year. I just couldn't handle the rain and all that. It's depressing to me.
Who were your main training partners?
Excuse me, who's my training partners?
Yeah, like when you were training with Hume, was it Dennis Hallman,
So there
Jeff
was a guy,
Monson? Go ahead.
Joe Estes, who was a friend of mine who was down here. We played football together, and he ended up going training there. He fought Enson Inoue and beat him.
That's
It's,
not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. The rematch, Enson got him though. But there was other guys who were like
What's the name?
wrestlers or Enson Inoue,
No, what's the name? The guy that fought Ensign.
Joe Estes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you got
Yeah.
Estes. Okay.
And there was a couple of guys who I trained with. Like, I feel kind of bad. I don't remember his name. Well, one guy who fought quite a bit, Pancreas, and then the rest of them were like amateur, like wrestler training people, and so it was like it was still relatively new type of sport. So
Okay. At this time, you had an issue with Allan Goes. He showed up to your gym trying to fight you.
yeah, he did.
Was this in response to you showing up over at the Gracie Academy?
It was he was raised by his dad to beat Royce Gracie. That was what his life dedication was.
Okay.
So when all of that happened, kind of upset him. Not to mention he wanted to get Kimo so he could put that notch on his belt. I didn't know about it. I wasn't at the gym, but I found out about it. We actually are friends, but at that time, we never encountered each other. So we never really finished that.
How was it relayed to you about when Goes shows up at the gym?
Kimo got Royce, so he wanted to redeem that and get the credit for it because he's from Brazil and he was actually raised to fight Royce and beat Royce. So it's kind of like I took that away from him. So he wanted to at least kind of make himself feel better, or I don't know what, to fight me. Plus, Brazilians like to fight.
Yeah. He was just looking for that was his excuse. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Joe, do you know what's interesting? Like, I'm a big Gracie fan. Certain Gracies, I'm a big fan. And oftentimes what you'll see is people will say, well, Royce was only a blue belt when he fought Kimo. Like, that's the one pushback. It's really not that
You had to
big
be a
of.
black belt to fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that one came from.
Well, let me make the argument for you. So
Okay.
they what they do is, even like Corley just recently said, yeah, Royce was just a blue belt. He was just a blue belt. Like, it really wasn't a good showing because Royce wasn't the best Gracie. I do believe that. But they said that he was also a lower ranked belt as to what he should have been, and they inflated it. But then when you read Royce's book, he's been on the mats since he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
So if he's on the mats from 3 years old full time, and they even pulled him from school in order to train full time,
I didn't know that.
how can he be a blue belt? He would have been a blue belt when he was 16. Like, and that's like probably earlier than that, but like his skill level, the argument is either they're lying about his skill level, which is what they said to get him in the UFC, or I think their entire system was nowhere near as what it was a few years later because of the competition aspect of it. And they had to make some urgent changes that they pretend existed in the beginning. They almost rewrote history, and Kimo's fight with Royce was a pretty big part of that, in my opinion, anyway.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, each teacher has their own measure of their student, which belt. So like, it's not easy to get a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. You have to almost be the best in your weight class or whatever to get it. So being that, it's hard to get a black belt. It gives them even more notoriety for their students to be that much better. You know what I'm saying? But maybe according to their family, he's a blue belt because the brothers are black belt, brown belt, whatever, at the level he was at. Even though he trained since a little kid, he was still a blue belt in their eyes. There's no like,
But I think
you
that's
don't get a booking or check off this. Okay, you got that done, that done. You're a blue belt, brown belt, or whatever. It is strictly by the teacher, the sensei.
okay. So Royce may have been the longest blue belt, arguably like full-time training blue belt in jiu-jitsu history, because there's absolutely no way, if you're not going to tell me that you took the mat at 3 years old for the first time and grew up on it and were pulled from school and didn't complete certain levels of school because you were so dedicated to jiu-jitsu and say, yeah, when I was in my 20s, I was still a blue belt. That's just, the math doesn't add up.
He wore a black belt when he was teaching privates. He's a black belt.
Do you think the Gracies are going to allow somebody to wear a black belt that isn't a black belt?
No.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you. I'm Team Kimo.
Yeah.
So
they were that whole event was made for them to show how good their art was.
Phenomenal.
So they were all about it.
Phenomenal. It was a phenomenal infomercial. It really was. I mean, it's still being felt today, 30 years later.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. So after the Allan Goes incident, you had described that you and Joe's son, your management, have a parting of the ways. Is there a conversation, or do you just stop returning each other's phone calls?
I stopped talking to him, stopped returning phone calls. I went up to Seattle. I trained up there without him. And that's when I got a call from him. And I told him, hey, bro, you kind of disappointed me. And I don't, seriously think we're really still training together and stuff. No, bro, you're on your own.
Joe Sando needs to find different students. Wow. That's it.
I think he trained Rudy Macayo. The guy Patrick Smith kicked in the cage.
Yeah, Rudy Macayo started training with him?
Yeah, he trained with us. He got in there because he told him he used to beat me.
Yeah, he won't give us an interview. Your father, Dennis, starts managing you at this point.
He was, yeah. Yeah, my pops was getting involved.
Joey Pops is still around, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
He's in Thailand.
That's good. That's good.
With a girlfriend younger than you.
Is he living in California or Hawaii, Pops?
No, he's in Thailand.
He's in Thailand.
Which part?
Phuket.
Phuket is awesome.
Yeah. I went there to visit him just recently.
Does he have additional children in Thailand?
No, I'm his sole.
Okay.
His girlfriend's younger than me.
Huh.
Joe, you only go around this one time.
That's true.
And they have 20 years of the latter period of your life in Thailand. He's doing it right. I think we can all agree.
A lot of happy expats over there.
Yeah, sure. I think so. I think so. So February 6, 1996, it's UFC 8. Ken Shamrock is the opponent. How do things get lined up for this, especially with your new management?
I'm not sure. They offered it. My management told me about the deal. We took the deal. That was it. I was training for him up there in Seattle. So,
how far out was it?
What do you mean by far out?
Was it like 3 weeks out, just like UFC 3, or did it give you a little bit longer?
It was. I don't remember. It wasn't maybe 6 to 8 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, right around now they started preparing for more than one card, Joey.
Yeah. In the interim, they brought Kimo to a UFC event that you did not fight in. Do you remember that one? They brought you there just to interview you, cut a promo. Which card was that?
Ultimate number 1.
That's right.
Yeah, over there in Denver.
So Ken Shamrock is your opponent. It was pretty interesting, like how what takes place there. It's Puerto Rico. There's a lot going on. Allan Goes is in attendance. I mean, outside of the fight with Ken, Allan Goes gets in a fight with Tank Abbott in the audience, and you've got a beef with Goes because he shows up at your gym. Shamrock's got a beef with Goes. Tank Abbott's got a beef with Goes, and Goes seems to be somebody without any friends at an event. And you guys run into each other in the hotel.
Yeah, Goins was had a lot of testosterone. He liked to fight. To tell you the truth, I didn't have beef with him. I didn't even really know about the coming to the gym thing. I think at that time yet, or whatever. I really don't. But I know that they were you had to go to the after party to get paid, and they were there, and they were at the same table as me, and that's when I met Joe Moreira, and they were going to take off, and this Tank that was got a beef, and they didn't really want to deal with all of that. So I told them, you know what, everybody with us is with you. So if they do it, we're all together, and there was no beef. I don't even know. I don't think Tank even showed up.
So you knew Tank from Huntington Beach.
I knew his name.
What was his reputation? What was his reputation?
See him go the other way. He was just scrapping anybody, anytime, anywhere, just rocking them. I worked at Mazzati's. He never went into there. There was a guy, Richard Alvarez, I worked with, he was the baddest in Huntington Beach.
Okay.
Tank would cross the street, go the other way. He didn't want nothing of Richard Alvarez.
Oh, wait. Repeat that one more time.
So Tank would see Richard, and he'd go across the street. He wouldn't come over there to, he didn't have no confrontation with Richard Alvarez. To me, Richard Alvarez at that time was the baddest guy at Huntington Beach. To this day, he was one of the baddest dudes I've ever met.
Was it mutual respect, or was it something else?
I want to say to Tank it might have been mutual, but Richard was a little bit chest out, kind of like looking down type of situation. He was a big dude, and he could move awesome. He was like 350 and just wrestling like a all-American wrestler, but he fought with open palms. And he was had power. He had power.
So Alvarez was. You're saying Alvarez was legit.
He was legit. He was mean.
Did he fight in MMA at all?
No, but people would come to that club to fight him, specifically just to fight him. In fact, one day there's such a big line around the club or the bar that I tell my friend, "Oh, stop! Richard's fighting, bro. I'm gonna go see this." So I run over there, and I look, and there's like 4 guys, and he was getting hit. He was getting hit because too many of them. I go, "What's up, Richard? Get him!" First guy, boom! I dropped him. Turn him over. I go to hit him, but he's already done out. So I look up. He already had the other 3 guys sleeping. Sleeping. Yeah.
What about John Lober?
John Lober was a guy who liked to fight too. The Machine. If you know him, he's a super cool guy. He's about it. But he was like, kind of the punk rock scene at Huntington Beach. So it's like, he liked to fight. He turned it into a career because UFC basically was like street fighting back then.
Joey, Huntington Beach. It's shocking the level of talent in such a small area of the country. Like, dude, Lober, you could argue at one point, at his athletic peak, was a world champion.
It beat Frank Shamrock.
Beat Frank Shamrock, his Dragon's Zinoviev. If there were judges, he would have won that. Granted, there was a crash afterward, but every athlete there is. At Lober's peak, in my opinion, at 205 pounds, 200 pounds, he was number 1 in the world.
Yeah, he had time he was running it. Huntington Beach was the Venice Beach of fighting,
Yeah, it's like gentrified now, but back in the day, it was tough.
It was a lot of fun. You got club rubber, you got all these girls on the streets, you got people scrapping and not going to jail, and it was cool.
What about Eddie Ruiz? What was his reputation?
He had a reputation too. He could knock him out. He was one of the names, up there in Huntington Beach, and he was a little guy. He wasn't big.
No, Eddie's about that life. Like you
Yeah.
look at Eddie, he's 100% about that. Like, he ain't got to be big. Like he's
No, exactly.
yeah.
It's the size of the dog. It's the size of the dog is the fight, not the size of something like that. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. With Ruiz though, it's all right. You're a big heavyweight. You're probably going to beat up Ruiz, but you know that you're going to be in a fight with him for sure. For sure. What about Tiki Ghosn?
Tiki was kind of young at that time. Him and Rob McCullough, they were training partners, and Tiki was like he wanted to be part of that, so he was more around Tito. So I really wasn't around him that much, but uh, he started with nothing, and he ended up being a pretty respected fighter.
Okay. You also were at the beginnings of Tito's career. You were involved with him.
No,
Not at all.
I wasn't at all.
Okay, so you had Tito Ortiz here. This is what I got. Watch Tito Ortiz cut his teeth in the fight game as a teenager. Tito helped Kimo get a role in the movie Dog Catcher. They were in
That's
two.
True. That's true.
Okay, and then they were.
Sponsor.
They were in two rival groups in Huntington Beach.
But this was after fighting.
Okay, but who was part of your crew? Who was in your crew? Who was in your crew?
Just a bunch of local thugs and just like Joe San sort of was part of it, and just a couple other guys.
Like Ziegler was another guy.
No, Ziegler was a man who had a family who was at the Thunder Center, and because I was Christian, and he's Christian, he thought he'd show me some things, but what he showed me was how to put your fingers in somebody's throat. He didn't really show me any jiu-jitsu.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Joey, this is where it gets interesting. So you're living with Matt Hume. You even fight in his organization on September 8th. February 6th, you fight for Ken Shamrock. All right. When you fought here, let me back up a little bit. When you fought Fred Floyd, what did you get paid? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I got part of the gate or whatever, a percentage.
Okay. A couple $100. I think we can agree on that, right?
Oh, a couple of like maybe 10, 20, maybe more thousand.
Oh, so really? You made okay. You made
co-promoted it. Like we co-promoted it with this guy named Kimo, who brought Elvis to Hawaii.
Okay.
So we got part of the gate.
So when you fought Ken Shamrock in February, Matt Hughes is in the cage celebrating with Ken Shamrock. Was there a falling out between the two of you?
Well, that was right there where you just named it, bullseye. That was fallout. I understand he does pancreas, and Ken does pancreas, but it's not an enemy thing, but it kind of like feels kind of bad with somebody you trained with the whole time. Didn't really look out for you. Like if you watch that fight, I throw a kick right off the bat. I mean, now I would tell myself, don't do something. Back then, I didn't know what I was doing because I was being trained. I was learning. So that's not something that's really smart to do to a grappler, to throw a kick. And what I did is what he showed me to do. And he showed me ankle locks. He didn't show me knee lock. So things like that just kind of like burnt me out.
So did you think you were kind of set up against Ken?
No, not set up, but not exactly looked like a homie, or like a true trainer would have been looking out for me. He would have gave me like knee locks, not just ankle locks. He wouldn't have been giving him hugs and smiling and hanging out with him more than me after the fight. He would have he wouldn't have been all
more attentive to a student than he was somebody that he saw in Japan on occasion. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it, Joey?
Yeah. Gets complicated.
In the fight world,
I'm not complicated, bro. if you're straight up with me, I'm straight up with you. You give me respect, I give you respect. I'm simple. I'm loyal.
And you know what's crazy? He sees Joe Moreira and Allan Goes at that event, whereas the same event, his trainer's hanging out with his opponent more than he has him.
Right.
Huh. So you start training with Joe Moreira.
Yep.
How would you
This is what
describe
happened.
the
He got a phone call from Hickson. What are you doing training the enemy? And he's like, Kimo's not the enemy. Kimo's good heart. And he goes, no. So they had kind of a beef. And Joe goes, at the UFC, he was gonna be with us, back us up. He goes, I don't care what you guys say. I'm gonna train him. And he trained me. He got a lot of heat for that.
I can tell you what about Moreira. He never backed down from the pressure from the people from his own country. He never did. Moreira is legit.
He's legit. And then some. And then some. I call him the professor of joint manipulation. No matter what question I had, what position my body would be in, or what the opponent would have me in, he'd have, when there's 1, 2, and 3, he always have 3 answers for it. Because they might do this, you do this. They do this, you do this. They do nothing, you do this. Always an answer.
He got so much heat from training you as well as others. Yeah. And like there was almost a PR campaign about his jiu-jitsu. It's just not good. It's not good.
You ever heard of Ken Gabrielson?
Of course.
That's the first black belt from the Gracies that was from the United States. Well, Joe had a guy named Gustavo, which was his brother-in-law, because he married his sister. Well, he gave him a black belt, and everybody said, that's a soft black belt. It's not real. It is not real, and blah, blah, blah. Well, Ken Gabrielson and Gustavo ended up in a jiu-jitsu tournament over there, fighting each other, and he beat Ken Gabrielson.
That's legit.
That's legit. That was awesome, too.
Yeah, and Moreira's jiu-jitsu tournaments were really cool, too. There's so much folklore, attached to those. Yeah, we were. Joe was one of our favorite guests. Super. He said nothing but nice things about you as well.
He's the coolest guy. His demeanor and he's totally cool guy.
Let me tell you how cool Joe Moreira is. Joe Moreira has a lifetime of jiu-jitsu under his belt. You are at this point are relatively new to the game. You decide to release a instructional video on Panther Productions, and Joe Moreira is the person helping you in the video just to kind of make sure that everything that you're teaching is above board and right and justified, to where anybody has any questions, not only are going to criticize you, but they also have to criticize him.
He was actually like, show me the move before I do it, so that way I could tell him how to do it. He was right on with me, because a lot of that stuff I was still catching it. I didn't really have it all. I didn't really grasp the whole thing yet.
Did you cut him in on any of the profits from that?
He ended up getting a deal through them where he did his own. He produced, I don't know, 12 tape series or something like that as well. But I was picking up from my fights, a percentages and stuff like that.
I mean, that's as legit as you're going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even plan it. That's like a destiny kind of happening. Because at that time, jiu-jitsu was like a mafia, they held it tight. They wouldn't give it to everybody. And if you weren't in that club, you weren't going to get in that club.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Joey, we are here. July 14th, 1996, shoot boxing, Kazushi Sakuraba.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Some kind of unknown pro wrestler from Japan.
Yeah.
So first fight was me for him.
Yep.
That was his first fight. And I didn't know nothing about him. So they come in my ring, the locker room, they go, hey, don't finish him so quick, make it a good show. And thank goodness I didn't have that mentality, because if I would have done that, he would have got me. Because it was back and forth. And I was starting to get tired. I'm lucky I caught him with that arm choke. But A lot of people say that's a work, and go ask him. He'll tell you if it's a work. He would say it's a work because why take the loss if it's a work and have that on his career? And also, so him and Takayama would fight me, but I couldn't have a fist to punch him in the face. It had to be open palm. And so that's why I said, when they do that to me, I know how the Japanese, they stall. They make the fight go longer because foreigners tend to blow their wad, get excited, and think they're winning. So if he could hold my hands, he could make it go a long time. But look, his head might keep moving. He can't stall it like that. So that's why I always said headbutts would be in there if they do that to me. Because they kind of turtle up, stall. If you can't, you can take hits like that. But if you give somebody good headbutts, they know they got to keep moving.
Were there rope escapes in this match?
No.
Okay.
Were you approached by anybody in Japan about making this a work?
No.
Not at all. Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah, this is his first fight. It's shoot boxing. Who lined this fight up for you?
There was like Sean McCulley was helped manage me that time.
Sean McCulley? Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
He's living in Costa Rica now.
Yeah. He's living a life.
Yeah.
He did LA boxing and then he kind of made some money through that and then he moved on there.
So Sean McCulley lined this up.
He set that fight up. He set that fight up for me. I think him and my dad worked together on that. And it was an independent promoter. It wasn't like a K1 or a Pride. It was some independent promoter to the show.
If I may give some pushback to our audience here, anybody that says this fight's a work, they haven't watched it. The headbutts that you gave to the back of his head, holy shit.
Kept it moving, man. He was kind of slowing the pace down. And that's why those headbutts came out. Keep him moving.
Yeah, both push your cardio rather than him just be kind of like a dead weight. Wow.
And that showcased my jiu-jitsu. Showed my jiu-jitsu started coming a long way from the beginning. Joe Moreira's stuff was working. I was picking it up.
Yeah, Sakuraba is as legit as they come. What about afterward in the locker room? Any approaching at all by anybody from like the Yakuza?
Yeah. Oh, no, not yet. No, not at that time. At that time, we just I had some fans. One of them had a geisha bar, whatever. So we went there and had a party with them, and I had a couple of these regular people take me around, that businessmen, but none of them were Yakuza.
Okay, not yet. It's coming though. Dude, it's so fascinating. It's so I mean, you're sitting on your couch in Huntington Beach, you take an airplane, you fight an absolute legend of the sport, and you're getting courted by people from the underworld. Oh, it's so good. This is what movies are made of.
Joe Son's aunt, when I went and fought in K1, she was from Yokohama, and Yokozuna is from that area. I mean, Yakuza from that area. I didn't really meet anybody at that time, but Joe Son and his aunt dealt with them because she owned a bar, but I wasn't around it. Joe Son was around it a little bit.
Yeah. You stay in Japan. That's July 14th and August 17th. Do you stay in Japan or do you come home and come right back? Go right back.
I come home and go right back.
Man, she almost stayed. August 17th. It's a month later. 1996 UWFI. Yasuhiro Takayama. The rumor was that this fight was supposed to be a work, but you went for a shoot. It was a little bit of a double cross.
Some of the rumors are funny.
Well, that's why you're here, dude. I mean,
no, it's
clearing
cool.
it up.
It's the first time I hear it. It's the first time I hear some of them, but it's kind of funny because I could see where that guy's coming from because he was embarrassed. I whooped his ass. His face was messed up, so he was embarrassed. He wouldn't fight me close fist to the face either. It had to be open palm. That's why headbutts were allowed. So, and he had long hair. I pulled his hair too. He wanted to come out there with braids. I pulled his hair, and the referee kept saying, "No pull hair, no pull hair." He flipped over, gave me his back. That was it. Fight over. Choked him
Do
out, but I
these
held on. I wasn't letting him go. I put him out. He was out, sleeping in his own blood.
Dude, these were like huge. Like your match against Sakuraba was in a 13,000 seat venue. Like these are huge arenas that you're pulling into. Does that also?
Hmm? I'm not noticing it. It's like UFC. It's like I don't notice it's just too much focus on my opponent. Everything else is a blur.
You're just leveling up for the moment. Okay.
Yes.
Does your paycheck reflect the amount of seats being sold at these events, or is it kind of the same?
I'm getting a flat 50 at that time.
Fuck.
Win or lose.
Whoa, that's great money back then.
Great money today.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Today you're making some sick money.
And the notoriety too. So in Japan, did they like kind of court you like they did Bob Sapp? Like, man, we'll do casino machines, plastic phallic symbols and maybe body hair for tea. we get some body hair from you so we can make tea out of it.
No, but like my name Kimo means liver. They had a show where all I did was eat liver the whole show. It was interesting. So they did stuff like that, but I never had any sponsors or, my manager was Joe Son. So he never really, and then when it came time, like with Sean McCulley and my dad, they kind of took they never hustled out anything. It was everything that came to me. So it was mostly promoters.
Okay. So November 17th, 1996, like just kind of looking at everything, I think if you would have been living in Japan, you could have been like a Bob Sapp type figure because they give you Bam Bam Bigelow in a cage, I might add.
Yeah.
How would you describe that, you and Bam Bam?
It was supposed to be Vader. You know Vader?
Yeah. Big Van Vader? Okay.
It was supposed to be Vader. He got hurt or something before the fight. And then, it wasn't, he was hurt way. So Bam Bam had like at least 2 or 3 months, but it was a trip because I remember playing a video game and he was way before, WWF, I think it was back then. So he was already well known. It was trippy fighting him because it was just a weird feeling. Plus he was big. He's a big dude.
Joey, I just watched video of this, like fantastic video of this. Bam Bam Bigelow, you've watched some of his interviews. What does Bam Bam say about what took place? Joey.
Oh, hey, he claims that it was a work. He claims it was a pro wrestling match, but like a stiff style where he's going to take some shots. I call bullshit.
Wow, he said that?
He did, yes.
Yeah, in the Hannibal interview, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. No, it was his first fight. He thought it was going to be easy. He thought it was nothing. And he learned out. One fight, retired. He never did it again.
No.
So they said Leon White. Is that Big Van Vader?
I don't know.
Leon White was your original opponent, is what I read online.
He's a guy he's huge. He's building a refrigerator.
And then, he said the fight was a work, and that there was a little bit of a double cross on like how heavy you were hitting him. I mean, it's in a cage.
I was hitting him too. Watch that fight. I'm not half hitting him. I'm pulling the cage, twisting my waist, coming down on him, and his head. I'm catching him in the temple. Bam! It was some good shots, and he was taking them. I was like, this month. So I had to switch my hand. I don't want to burn the hand out. I'm hitting him. I'm catching him in the temple. His head's put. So I start talking to him. Bam, bam. You might as well give up, bro. I'm trying to make him panic and turn over, And it finally did. He finally turned over and choked him up.
I would say when you switched hands, when you were talking, it was, come on, man. You're going to make me do this to you?
Yeah.
That's how I acted. But in my mind, I was like, holy shit, this guy's taking my hits. I'm going to blow I'm catching him as hard as I can. I'm using everything I got. And he's not making a noise. He's not moving any weird way. He's just he told me he was trying to make sure I don't headbutt him, is what he's really doing.
And Mike, Leon White, yes, that is Big Bad Vader.
Okay, so it's Big
Yeah.
Van Vader. Yeah, I'm not a wrestling guy, but I do appreciate it. Okay. So you're getting 50 a crack at these, and dude, these are huge venues. Huge venues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm headlining it, or the second name below the headliner, so I was already pretty much established in Japan.
Tell us about your dealings with the Yakuza. Like, how do they introduce themselves to a foreigner?
You know, I kind of through Akibono, you know, get rid of
Okay.
Akibono.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, he's from Hawaii. So it's like he picked me up after the dad severed Pride. So I hung out with him, and then I was looking for the pinkies to make sure who I was talking to, you know? And I didn't really, Japan was where I fought. I didn't really get, like you said, I didn't live there. I didn't stay there any longer. I went in, came out. So I think they kind of knew I was like,
Straight business.
not a waste of time, but I'm not, it wasn't something that like interested me. You know, some people go, it's like starstruck when it's, but with Yakuza or whatever. So it's like that scene of that life of drugs, I wanted away from it. I didn't want anything back with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like ecstasy and things of that nature, I know were real popular in Japan at that time.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about ecstasy, but just that the Yakuza is all about crime. That's their whole motive. So I don't want anything about crime around me, because I'm trying to live the life of the light, not of darkness.
Okay. Did you ever cross paths with Gerard Gordeau or any of the Dutch fighters?
Yeah, Gerard Gordeau was at a few events I was at, and he was a super cool guy, super funny, and
Smoking cigarettes.
Never had beef with him.
So he had a beef with the Yakuza at one point where he knocked out a pro wrestling promoter at his own event and tried to escape.
Was he in Japan?
Yeah, it was in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Not too good of a move by him.
No. Yuki Nakai, when he blinds Nakai, he goes back to Japan a few months later. Nakai picks him up at the airport and drives him to the Yakuza.
You know, Gerard Gordeau he didn't pretend to be anybody. He was what he was. And
that's true.
He had a little bit of that type of in his being of who he was. You know, he wasn't a criminal, but he had a little bit of that flavor to himself.
I think he would argue that he was a criminal. I think he would take great offense to saying that he's not a criminal.
I'm saying it
nicely. Yeah, a fascinating person. So after Japan, December 7th, 1996, UFC 11.5, the Ultimate. Paul Varelans is your opponent. Like, the Kimo train has left the station, and I mean, you're internationally famous. You're one of the reasons people are buying these pay-per-views.
I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking, yeah, people are knowing me. Things are happening where if I go out, I don't wait in line, or people, you know, super cool to me. My name's wherever it goes, like people will say Kimo, or can I get a picture with you? Or so it was a lot. They need to be a class or something for that, to teach people how to stay humble, or how not to let that blow your head up. But yeah, it was a big change.
So Joey, the setup to this, like if we were to kind of set the table, Mark Coleman pulls out with a virus. He was the original opponent, and Kimo replaces him. Kimo, when you look at his weight, he goes from 270 to 235.
Right.
And Paul Varelans is 340 pounds. And
340 pounds.
340. Did I say 240? Yeah, 340. Oh, yeah. Varelans is a giant human being. In my opinion, this is one of those Hall of Fame fights. It showed. Oh no, it showed everything. Like, you want to know
Yeah.
about Kimo? This is the fight you want to watch.
Right on, bro. I appreciate that.
Took a
And
lot
you
of
know what?
heart.
I wanted to quit, but I couldn't quit because I looked at my corner. I had real people in my corner this time. I had Joe Moreira, who sacrificed for me, who went against, the community to teach me. I wasn't going to quit. Then he carried me out of that ring. There was going to be no tap. There was no tap. You know, when you fight somebody who's not going to tap, that's a tough opponent, period. And he was choking me, or excuse me, when he started hitting me, I go, holy sh! He's wearing a shirt. And I remember when I did jiu-jitsu at the Thunder Center, these guys were choking me in my tank top with that same choke. And I went, he hit me and I go, oh, wow. Boom. I got it. So I had him. And that's what changed the momentum of that fight.
I don't think Varelans gets enough respect.
Hell of a nail.
Dude, a phenomenal nail, and
Yeah.
a decent hammer, better nail than he was hammer. But I mean, when you lose your cardio and you're fighting a guy that's almost 350 pounds, oh
Yeah.
fuck that.
Man, he for one, he loved just being aggressive. He liked being aggressive, but he was when he hit you, it was a heavy hit. It was like boom, boom, like it's like the lights went off and on for a second. It may not have been a sharp one, like a big ding, ding, but it was like a boom. Everything went black for a second.
Oof.
Yeah. I was messed up after that fight. I was in the hospital. In fact, 3 months after that fight, I was still messed up. Every time I go to bed,
Really?
Concussion?
everything was spinning for 3 months.
I would even argue Kimo won, or I'd say Paul Varelans won every bit of that fight except for about 10 seconds.
Yeah, you kind of rope-a-doped him a little bit.
It wasn't a rope-a-dope. It was just surviving, and then opportunity came.
Yeah.
I mean, you say surviving an opportunity came. The fight's 9 minutes and 8 seconds. That's a long, long time.
Yeah, it was a long time. And when he landed on me, I wanted to go. I wanted to quit right there. I mean, I was just not because of him, because I was stuck. I was frustrated. I felt claustrophobic, and I just was like, I have to get out of here. But then, like I said, I looked at my corner and I was like, hell no. How am I going to face Joe or anybody if I quit after all they've done for me? It was going to happen.
Dude, Moreira is a real one.
Yeah.
He's a real one. He's a real one.
You couldn't continue, obviously, in the tournament.
Okay.
Was that your decision or was that your coach?
I'm not sure. It might have been the whoever's like the doctor, maybe, because I was messed up.
Really?
I was dizzy, dehydrated. Yeah, I was messed up. But I was glad I won.
Dude, it's a that fight belongs in the Hall of Fame. It really does. Like, you want to put Kimo in the Hall of Fame? Paul should join.
That's the
him.
one.
That's the one to do it. Yep. And you know what? You get two birds with one stone. Paul Varelans, early day pioneer. Kimo, early day pioneer. I met like Oleg and Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Put that in the Hall of Fame. Both of those fights belong in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
We didn't back then. We were like, it was like test driving, rocket test pilots and stuff. We didn't know. It was really like everything was on the job training. Everything we learned on the job. So like everybody for his body type, stuff that worked for him. Now people start adding that to their vocabulary or whatever you want to call it. So it's like technology. You build on technology. People were building on the technique and the styles of fighting.
Wow. Well, when you talk to like the second wave of MMA guy, post headbutts, and he talked to like, hey, what about this fight? Oh, that's the headbutt era. Like the second wave is there's something off about even like partaking in that time period because there's no money. And even those guys look at you guys as a little bit off because you guys fought in the headbutt era. It's interesting.
We fought in no disqualification era. You can't get disqualified for anything you do in a fight. You can do anything you want.
Brian Johnson is your next opponent. Elite Kickboxing, April 16th, 1997.
Honolulu.
Yeah, in Honolulu, you're in Hawaii. You are a big draw in Hawaii.
Yeah, my home. Brian Johnson's tough. He was tough. He was hard to prepare for because he's well rounded. I didn't know he was the jiu-jitsu or his judo was that good either.
Yeah.
And he actually caught me with my move. He headbutted me right in the beginning. I mean, good. I don't know if you see my scar on my face. He caught me with a headbutt, and the blood was just. And before the referee could see it, Joe was so on point that when we kind of like rolled around standing, and right when I got by the corner, Joe wipes my excuse my language, wipes my face, wipes the blood from my face, and we keep going. And then he takes me down, or yeah, does a judo throw, hip throw, and somehow I get on top of him, or whatever, and got him with a forearm choke. And I got a few people with that forearm choke. That's not supposed to make somebody tap, but I was like, my mount is so solid, and my weight and everything on there was like, somebody stuck on you like that. You can't get him off.
Yeah, he was good with his throws.
Yeah, he was
underrated pioneer, Brian Johnson.
Yes, big time, big time.
Yeah, Kimo, you're red hot at this time, especially here in the United States and abroad, obviously. And you also participated in Pride 1, October 11th, 1997. And this was like the first, I'd say, real organization to go after the world of mixed martial arts on an international level. How did the conversation start with Pride, and who was your liaison there?
So Pride, it might have been Sean McCulley, or my dad and Sean McCulley, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know I was fighting. I didn't really know too much till like maybe a month before the fight that it was Severn.
So could you open up about the fight with Dan Severn?
So Joe Moreira trained me how not to let him take me down. Because he comes up and he barely, I guess, a carpet. It's like that's the way I explain it. But that Severn's like a carpet. You get rolled up in that carpet, he mauls you. So I worked on, the forearm against the face, keep pushing him away, get away. Don't throw combinations too much because you don't want to like let him grab you. That's basically what we worked. And, the rest was jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. But that fight ended up being kind of boring because he wasn't getting me down, and I wasn't committing to really anything because I didn't want to overcommit on something and get him to take me down and be in his world. Like I said, he's like a carpet just smothering you.
Mm-hmm.
This one was 30 minutes, Mike.
Yeah,
30 minutes.
I know the organization itself wasn't real happy with the fight either, and there was some words with both of you too.
Severn had a few fights like that, bro. He fought Shamrock like that. He fought kind of crazy a little bit like that.
Dance in Detroit, Shannon Rich. The fight itself was left off of the DVD. The Pride officials believed it was a work. There was a few works on that Pride 1 card.
For sure, the Nathan Jones fight was a work. He's come out and said so.
Work is like what you asked me about the rope escape. If there's a rope escape, that's a work.
Okay.
But they didn't have that in Pride. There was no rope escape in Pride.
Here.
I mean, the guys on the ground, you kick them.
Let me be direct. Did Dan Severn ever approach you about maybe not going 100% in this fight?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, not at all. Okay, I believe you.
Because it wouldn't be the first time Dan did that, or the 10th.
I didn't know that.
For the 25th time.
I didn't know that. Wow. That takes away.
Well, Dan is, I mean, even as I don't know, Dan's Dan. I think that's the best way of
was that at his career or in the beginning?
Throughout his entire career, especially towards the end. Yeah, I mean, if for 10 grand, I could have beat Dan in like a backyard of my house in front of my friends and family. Hickson and Takada 2. Mark Kerr, who fought on that card, said it was 100% of work. Do you what about Hickson and Takada one? Are you aware if that was a work or not?
I'm gonna say it wasn't a work because
Okay.
Takada was running from him. He was scared of him, and he wouldn't do that if it was a work because that made him look really bad. I mean, it looked terrible. He was running from him. If you're gonna work it, make it look good. Don't make it look like why would you do that at work? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's see Hickson's doing a work.
You can't see Hickson doing a work?
No, I don't see him doing a work.
No.
Not at that
Okay.
time.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. And what was there any issues with the UFC when you took that fight in Pride? Because I mean, eventually Pride starts poaching the UFC talent, especially during the John Peretti era.
Yeah. Oh yeah. John Lewis, John Peretti.
Was there any
WFA,
blowback
that was
from you fighting on that first Pride?
the only blowback I had was when Joe Son fought number 4. I never had a good relationship with the UFC after that.
Okay.
And I was offered
Oh,
way better money in Japan than I was for UFC. So
didn't really matter. Yeah, they were kind of out of their element in regards to paydays.
yeah,
Wow. I think that was the one thing working against the UFC in that dark era. They weren't propped up by a nefarious organization.
Right. Yes. Yeah. They weren't shady enough. That's what held them back.
Yeah. Yeah. We know we sold
they,
2,000
they were trying to
tickets.
survive. Everybody was
Yeah.
trying to close them down. I mean,
Yeah.
they had states. They say 10, then 8, then 5, then 4 states left. I mean,
Yeah.
they were dealing with some issues.
Yeah. Yeah. They really were. They really were.
Yeah.
So you fought TK Kosaka at UFC 16th, March 13th, 1998. TK was an absolute beast. He was training with the Lions Den at the time.
Yeah, I don't see him as a beast. I see him as they gave him the fight for a couple of minutes. I was on him the whole fight. In fact, I tried to ankle lock him in the first beginning of the fight. And I had it, but I didn't know to pitch your knees. So I'm trying to force it. My dad goes, break his fucking leg. And I'm trying and I blew my wad trying to break his leg. I did not the whole rest of the fight. I'm trying to my forearms come back because I was just like the lactose buildup got me, you know. So I was throwing occasional punches. I was on him. Finally, towards the end of that fight, I tried to do an arm bar,
Yep.
slid right off of him. He got on top of me for a couple minutes, and they gave him the fight.
Yeah, you could have held top position and tried to win a decision, but you went for the finish, so that kind of showed your heart.
Yeah. But, like I said about learning, you don't do it on somebody who's slippery.
Yeah.
You guys are both super wet, sweat. That was a little bit. There's a lot of things I've learned.
And Pride 3 your fight with Big Daddy Goodridge was canceled. Hurt a knee doing takedowns.
Yeah, I tore ACL.
Was this in Japan while you were out there?
It was the dojo. The mat was wet. I stepped on a wet part, slid, and when my friend sprawled, my knee just went.
Was this at Moreira's gym?
Yeah.
Okay. Who was your training partners at
That
this
was
time?
right before the fight, so it was like that one hurt. That was a lot of money I lost right there.
Who were your training partners at this time?
Joe put them all. You get random people all the time, and then Justin McCulley, John McCulley. There's always people that flew in to train over the Joes, like from out of country or out of state. They trained with me. He had a bunch of students that were like really good. So
That's cool.
That's
really cool. Yeah. That's cool. And then Freedom Fight, the promoter Pete Rodley you didn't show up for that. That was June 2nd, 2000. This is kind of when things the water gets a little rough with you. No?
What was I supposed to fight in that fight?
I don't know. That's what I had.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't even. There's no fight that only Goodridge was the only fight that I kind of let the promoter down, but I got hurt. It wasn't a no-show. Prior to that, I was always there.
It shows a canceled bout from Christoph Madu and Elvis Sinisic. Were those fights offered to you at any point?
I don't think so. Todd Fry was offered me.
Pete Rodley is from Canada. I mean, he's one of the promoters with Stefan Patry. He was one of those early guys of Canada.
Oh, you know what? I might have been offered a fight on the east coast of Canada. I don't know who the guy was, but I never signed no contract.
Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
I had heard that. Okay. Um, April 12th, 2002, Joe Son and Joe Moreira fight in Extreme Pancration.
Is that the G-string fight?
Well, the G-string fight is Yusuke. Here,
Okay.
let's we gotta do this. I'm Kimo. I'm so sorry, dude. I kind of want to keep it separate, but it's impossible. February 22nd, 2002, Pride. Joe Son fights Yusuke Imamura, and he had a tiger stripe thong on and eyeshadow.
Joe Son started becoming Joe Son. The part of it that he hid started coming out. Like I told you, there was times where he jump in front of everybody, watch TV, butt naked, little weird things like that. So those parts of him he held started coming out. I mean, he had makeup and a G-string on, or a jock or something. I don't really know.
I would argue at times you should maybe highlight the positives and try to distract away from the negatives.
You didn't see it that way.
I think he was the opposite.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah, I don't think he should have been in a thong.
He was a definite character, bro. He was definitely one of a kind.
Do you miss him?
I missed the part of him, but the overall it was such a negative experience, and that it was like, I mean, he wrote me from jail too, and it blew me away. He drew a picture of some fluffy dog. I don't really understand what that was all about. Some clouds or some weird things. I don't know.
So he called me from jail a couple months ago, and so I in my background, I've worked in a prison before. I got 15 years in law enforcement. The overwhelming of my career was at the Cook County Jail, and he was like trying to finesse me that when he gets out, he's going to make a comeback. I'm going to make, you know how to throw a kick, right? You've seen kicks. Have you seen my kick in this match? I'm like, yeah, Joe, I've seen all your kicks, but this is kind of what I want to talk about. No. When I get out, dude, you can be a part of it. You can be an investor in Joe Son's comeback. And then when I try to respond, he goes on another tangent. I try to slow it down a little bit. He goes down another tangent. And it's just like, hey, Joe, you ain't getting out, man.
I know.
Let's just come up with a price. Give me a price. Yeah. Either I bite on it or I don't. I know you're in jail. You got to get comfortable. I don't want to fuck your case up. You need clothing. You need food. I get all of that. I think you should have that, Joe. So just give me a price. I'm thinking, well, this is a very special interview. Like, fuck yeah, it is, Joe. Real special. I need $25,000.
Talk to Mr. Beast.
People even get paid for interviews.
Well, you guys like Joe, and you obviously are doing this for free. When it comes to certain people, Joey and I mean, we don't make money on this, so it's not like we can. But there's certain people that were like, "Can we get you dinner?" Because we genuinely want you to have a good meal. Because, dude, what the fuck? Just out of respect for the game, dude. Just for the game.
Yeah.
We just want to get your story down in your words.
Yeah, it's just like,
we're historians.
You have a good dinner.
Your product shows, bro. Your guys,
thank you.
Big time. Awesome.
So, but Joe wanted 25 grand, and then I tried to meet him in the middle. I said, what about 150 before and 150 after? And
what do you say?
That is in the middle. That's between 0 and 25 grand. Mike. That is in the middle somewhere.
Keep doesn't get half of that. Keep it all, Joe.
So essentially, he says that there's like, I guess his victim gets a portion of it, and he would need at least $6,000 to even consider it. And then he kept going on different tangents about, never mind the interview. I just need to invest in him as the vehicle to become a world champion. Yeah.
That whole thing, it affected my life so negatively. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, Signed contracts were ripped up. Done deals were no longer done. Merchandises that were going to be merchandised were no longer on the table. It kind of sucked.
Have you? I mean, I'm not a big card collector. Have you ever been in the UFC trading cards?
I actually signed a deal with them.
Good.
But nothing's kind of come across it. They paid me just like Jack's action figures. They signed me a contract, and they were good. But at least now it's not the Joe Son block. But I signed a contract, and they give me money, and they don't fulfill the thing. It's like, wow, you guys wasted money right there. Well, how do we know you're not involved with Joe Son? I go, because I know I'm not. But I can see where they're coming from with that.
So you got a 1997 K1 trading card.
Yeah.
That's the only one you got out there.
Yeah.
Joey, we might need to pick a couple of those up. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Joe Son is
he's not boring.
He's definitely not boring.
Yeah.
No, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact.
You got that good, bro, but always like, this is a interview. That's totally him. We go to church, right? A Calvary Chapel, which is really conservative. He would come, some kind of weird shorts, and he'd bring a pillow, and he'd be right in the back, laying down sleeping while church is going on. He'd do kind of things like that made me not understand what's going on.
So, Kimo, you're a Calvary Chapel guy. You ever meet Raul Ries?
Yes.
Yeah. He's in my neighborhood. He lives down the street.
He's in the name of the Lord, stay down, don't get up. Yeah.
So Joe Moreira versus Joe Son. Was this kind of a revenge match for you?
I didn't really know about it till after the fight. I had no clue till after the fight.
You weren't working out with Joe?
No. I think I was retired at that point. I might have been retired at that point.
Okay, yeah, it was 2002.
I mean, I still worked out, Joe, but there was a time, a brief period that I wasn't really around. I was out doing movies or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, it was almost like a revenge match. Joe Son lost by way of terror.
Yeah, whatever that means. The only one in Sherdog history.
Yeah, he enters the cage, they close it, his eyes get big, and it's almost like a mailman running away from a dog, like inside like a fence.
Yeah, I didn't go to it, but I heard what you're saying. He just was like, that's crazy because he can fight. I don't know what happened. He never really pulled the trigger in these fights. The only real fight he did pretty decent was he fought that referee that was from K1. I don't remember his name, but he dropped him. Joe Son never trained. That's one thing. He never trained. Can't win a fight if you don't train.
No. Yeah, shortly after that, you actually fought Tim Lasik in a WFA. John Lewis is the promoter. Tim Lasik had a toe injury in the bout.
In the cage. Got trapped in the cage.
Yeah, I got trapped in a cage. You had a cool career, dude. You had a really cool career. If you look at it. He
got brave after he broke that toe. Braver than when we were fighting. All of a sudden, he got all aggravated, huffy puffy. And I'm like, bro, what are you tripping on? All of a sudden, you're tough now? We were fighting. We were actually fighting. And now you're getting up here and making a move. We can get a rematch. Don't worry about it. We'll get a rematch.
In 2000,
he was strong as hell.
Lasik,
super great athlete.
Great. Eugene Jackson and him were like, they met at a real early age, best friends still to this day. Yeah. Two other guys that won't give interviews. January 11, 2003, Venom was going to do a show at the Olympic Auditorium. Yourself and Aaron Tohill were advertised to be on the card.
Yeah. I was supposed to fight Bas Rutten.
Yes. I
went to
think
Brazil to train for that fight.
with who?
Joe Moreira. We went to Brazil and trained for that fight. I was getting ready for that fight and come back and I tested supposedly positive for windstroke.
You were coming off an injury, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't really remember. I really don't remember. I'm not sure. I saw that I tested positive and there went that whole fight.
I think the whole card got canceled, and it was one of those.
Wait, no. That's WFA. The card happened. Bas Rutten fought Warpath.
Bas fought Bigfooter. What's that guy's name? Is Blackfooter.
Yeah, Venom was supposed to throw a show. I got Venom. Damn, Joe, two of them?
Was the one that got canceled.
I got two of these? Fuck. I'm going to tell you where my information on this comes from. It comes from, I got a giant box of Full Contact Fighter newsletters. And I'm just going through them and going through them and going through them. And it didn't list WFA on that. It just said Venom, like the clothing brand, before they became like Venom, is how it was listed as. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that was a last minute cancellation. They told Kimo, we'll let you fight, but you got to prove with doctor prescriptions that this medication was given legitimately. Kimo did all of that, and then they still scrapped the bout.
Okay, so I think that was originally scheduled for California, and then it got moved out of there. Could you look it up, Joey?
I will.
I mean, normally we do this pre-prep, but
that WFA card was a good idea. There's some pretty good fights.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then there was a rumor that you got, Joey?
Hang on, it's coming up.
Okay, let's get this done, man.
All right, that was WFA King of the Streets, July 22nd.
See, this was January, dude. Here, I'm looking at this.
Okay, so he was supposed to fight him twice. Maybe got canceled, restarted, canceled again.
Dude, yeah, Joey, that's on you, bro. That ain't on me.
All right. I'll take it. Yeah, this fight was at the Great Western Forum in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a rumor that you were at a gym and Tank Abbott shows up and gets on the big speakers and starts talking trash to you, like on the PA system.
Yeah.
Is that true?
No. But I did run into him one time down at the sushi place. And I was on crutches and I was on a date. And I saw him at the bar and I went, I told my date, I said, hey, if this such and such happens, don't even just stay away. Get away, stay away. There's a potential situation here. But he was actually cool.
What made you concerned about Tank?
Because Tank's a brawler. He'll just bring it. You know, he'll just you're not looking. Should have looked. Boom. You know, he was all about that. I mean, he loved fighting. And he would fight and get away with it over there because he don't have guns. He don't have knives. So, you know, I was on crutches. I really would have had a hard time dealing with that. But he was actually, and I put him down too. I put him down, and so I was standing there without him. But he was cool about it. He was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Huntington Beach can't be that big of an area.
No.
I never really ran into him.
How?
Because he went to Hurricanes, which is where I never went to. And then
Tank went to 2 bars. Like he was the man at 2 bars. He was very loyal to those 2 bars.
Okay. Well, you fought him at UFC 43, June 6, 2003. I mean, huge fight. This pretty much was like there should have been a belt on this fight. You know,
if they were doing like a BMF belt back then.
Absolutely. Yeah. King of Huntington Beach for sure. Yeah.
That's mentally, that's what it was about. It was about King of Huntington Beach. Who's going to walk around with their head up? Who's going to walk around and
it was co-main event.
It was co-main event. Tank at this point had kind of checked out. He had lost interest. I know he came from WCW where he made a very good living over there. And yeah, not his best showing. Yeah, I was surprised. I thought for sure Tank would have been up, and it's a fair fight. Like,
I had a
Yes.
game plan, and my game plan worked. What's up? You guys not gonna give me credit for that?
oh
Of
He
no,
didn't
no,
have
course.
a
no,
Of
chance.
no,
course.
He
Of
didn't have a
come
course.
chance
on,
to
bro.
do what he didn't have a chance to do what he does. Believe me, he was not taking that fight lightly. It was about, he knew what was up. He did not want to lose that fight. I had a game plan. My game plan worked perfect. It was, okay, takes out a lot. The army's gonna come and throw him. I'm not gonna shoot for him because wrestler, gonna sprawl. Punching him would be whatever. Wait a minute, my leg is longer than his leg. I think I'm gonna throw a right to his stomach right when he comes at me.
Little
Just
teep.
that was the whole fight. What he did from there was what was gonna happen. He's gonna stop. He's gonna parry it. So number one, number two, and number three was played off it. I just grabbed him and tried to pull him down, and he's so strong that he pivoted. He held it. I couldn't get him down. That's okay. I let him go. He popped back up. Now all of his weight was on his legs. He can't sprawl. Ankle pick. Boom. Crawled up him. Trying to get relaxed for a second. Don't be stiff. Relax. I go up to throw a punch. He throws a punch. I slip it. I got him in a side choke. Now you're supposed to jump over and run to the side to finish that move. I know that. But wait a minute. I can hear him breathing, but it sounds like he's having a hard time. Why jump over him, a guy who can bench 500 pounds
Yeah.
and just get rolled over? Because my pivot, my arm to stop it is under his neck. And so I started making it tighter. Every time he breathed, tighter, tighter. And he ended up tapping.
Great performance. And you
Yeah,
looked you looked ready for this fight. Did they give you good
technical.
I was
notice for
ready,
this
bro.
one?
I was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready. That's not Tank.
It's a
Tank,
huge
Tank's
fight.
gonna
That's a
be,
huge
I don't want
fight.
to lose to Tank like Matua did, bro. He's famous for being
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, you don't want to be there.
No way.
I think you encapsulated it perfect. If it's a knockout artist, it's one thing. If it's a guy that puts you to sleep, I'd rather deal with going to bed than somebody taking your head
Yep.
off. And Tank is a guy that take your head off.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, big time.
Great showing.
Yeah, why don't we wrap this up with Bob Sapp? I know
Okay.
we've had you quite a bit. August 15, 2003, K1 Las Vegas. Bob Sapp is your opponent.
You're training with Eddie Millis. Are you training in Rancho
Yep.
Cucamonga or is he coming to
Yep.
you?
No, I'm going to Rancho Cucamonga because
Really?
all of these guys are out there, so it's easier to have sparring partners and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I stayed there.
That's a
I'm
good
in
room.
a hotel, staying there.
That's a good room. Shark Tank, those guys were cool cats. Like they
Yeah,
even
they are.
did
Yeah.
you work out with the Lions Den at all at this point?
No Shamrock at all.
Okay, because I know those guys on Sundays used to cross train and spar
At
with the
times,
Lions
yeah.
Den. Yeah.
They were
Okay.
never there when I was there. I never saw them.
So you get Bob Sapp,
Yeah.
and Maury Smith is in his corner, and Sapp is also training with Matt Hume.
Yep.
Somebody that obviously I would say not a real healthy departure with.
Hey, true.
Bring us through how this fight comes together.
Okay. So I'm offered first it was Boa, that boxer, the one Tyson fought. He kept trying to wreck his arm. Francis Boa or something like that. But then it ended up being Bob Sapp. And I train kickboxing, so it's like I can beat Bob Sapp in kickboxing. You know what I'm saying? His technique's not that great.
Right.
So he wouldn't fight me at MMA, so I said I'll fight him kickboxing. That's how that came out.
Oh, what a sideshow. That's a phenomenal. That's a Japan choreographed freak show. I'm in.
For sure. And man, people ask, what was it like? I go, you ever been in a big wave when a big swell comes and it just lifts you up, and that wave is big, and you're like, that's what it felt like. And his punches were heavier than Paul Varelans, same kind of punch, boom, but heavier, a little heavier than excuse my language, than Paul Varelans.
Okay. Well, hey, Joey, would you say there's some shenanigans in this fight?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I mean,
Kimo flattens him,
He's being nice about this.
at the end of the first round. And then he doesn't get the 1 minute rest. He gets like 2.5 minutes because they jump in with a flashlight, checking his pupils. They give him as much time as they possibly can because they want to set him up for the next big fight. Yeah, you got jobbed on this one for sure.
Yeah, they gave room service. They got some steak and eggs and
Yeah.
got some cranberry juice and
Yeah, gave him a
the whole time
pedicure.
I'm taking me out my element instead of being in my fight. All of a sudden now I'm like, huh? And that's a different mentality when you're like a predator to a, I don't know what you'd call it, when you lose that edge. But it took an edge from me. They gave him like 3 minute, 4 minute. I didn't really know the rules, or I would have walked out of the ring. So
I do like
respect.
I do like how you said, okay, if you're going to do me dirty, then I'm going to play dirty. At one point, you just took your mouthpiece out and dropped it and said, like, all right, well, now I get a break. Now I get a break.
Yeah. You're good, bro. You know exactly where fighters' heads are at.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, I was like, you give him a break. Here, pick up my mouthpiece.
Yep.
But that's not, that mentality is not the same as somebody who's engaged into a combat. You know, when you play games like that, it's not the same ferocity or intenseness or, you know, and to beat somebody like of his, not caliber, but size advantage, that was a size advantage. It had to be a more focused.
Well, I mean, caliber too. He did have 2 wins over Ernesto Hoost. I mean,
dude, are you kidding me?
So a win over him is something special. And God damn it, you deserved that win. You did.
It's an awesome kickboxer. He's a legend.
Yeah. Kimo, I honestly, like, when you look at like you and Tank Abbott, you know, there's several instances in your career, Bob Sapp being another one. There are several instances where you really leveled up and kind of showed people, Paul Varelans being another one. Mm-hmm. You showed people, no, I'm legit. I'm just not the guy carrying a cross. And Sapp at this moment, I mean, it's in Las Vegas too. There's lots of scrutiny. I mean, Joey, for those shenanigans going on.
Huh? That fight was all about Tyson.
Exactly. After the fight, Mike Tyson jumps in the ring. They're trying to build a fight with Tyson. They couldn't let him lose. They had to get him the win no matter what.
They were yelling Kimo.
Yep.
Yeah, but like still, look, where's the event at?
The Bellagio, Vegas.
Okay, so it's a legit commission.
Yeah.
So you can sit here and say they still did shenanigans even in the most restrictive state and commission possible. Like there's nowhere. California and Las Vegas have got the most difficult commissions in terms of stringent behavior. And K1 just, it didn't have the ability not to do this.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of money on that bet, on that fight. Some people way up there had some money on that fight.
I hope you were compensated well for that fight because they jobbed you.
Yeah, I was.
Good. Good for you.
How do you compensate somebody for robbing them like that?
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, you celebrated the bout. You celebrated like winning the fight after the first round. Like you walked around going, "Nah, this shit's over."
Because he did. Bob didn't get out of his seat. That's a win.
That's a win. If you don't come back 1 minute after the, between rounds, fight's over.
Period. Yeah, you get like a 10-second grace period, and if you don't stand up, the fight's over.
Yeah, so the doctor enters into the ring to clear Bob Sapp, and it was a really long conversation.
Yeah,
and cocktail down. When he's going in the ring, he gave some guys cocktail. Hold on to my cocktail. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and it was an amazing orchestration in order to continue the fight. Like it really was. You got an 8 count after collapsing from exhaustion. And another time, like when Joey had said you spit your mouthpiece out because of all the BS, Moreira is a legit cornerman. He really took his time cleaning it. Like that's
Eddie was my corner. Eddie was in my corner for that fight.
Yeah.
Eddie's smart.
Well, I thought it was Joe Moreira. No,
Joe wasn't in my corner. Eddie
That
was.
was Eddie Millis. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, Eddie. There we go.
Yeah.
Eddie should have
Wow.
got me out
Eddie's
of there.
sharp.
Eddie should have got me out of there, bro. He knows kickboxing.
You want to be honest with you, he should have interfered in between rounds 1 and 2 and just said, like, that's when he should have really asserted himself.
Yeah.
There should have almost been commotion, but let it ride out with like a pro wrestling-esque type exit rather than like what took place.
Yeah.
Right, but it would have been like when Guy Metzger left the ring with Sakuraba, and they go, "Oh well, you don't want to fight anymore." You know, he was going to get screwed anyway.
This is Las Vegas, though. This is Las Vegas, though.
Yeah.
It's still talked about to this day, bro. So it's
For
all
sure.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, Joey and I still argue about this shit.
It's true.
Like nobody really cares.
No, we know what happened, Kimo. We know what happened.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And Maurice Smith, yeah, absolute legend. Eddie Millis is with you. Yeah. What were the conversations like afterward? Did you meet with Bob?
Bob gave me a lot of love. He was super nice to me. I think he knows that he got saved by that bell, by the referee or whatever it was. So Maurice is cool. He's a legit guy, but all about fighting, training.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You got to give respect to that guy.
Yeah,
I do anyway. I give him a lot of respect. And he's kind of solo. He may know a lot of people and do a lot of things or whatever, but he's basically Maurice Smith. He was with the AFC, but he went off to do his own thing by himself.
Yeah, Bob Sapp was a monster in Japan. You were big in Japan too. It almost would have been smart for you to return to Japan, even on a pro wrestling circuit.
Right.
I did sign a pro wrestling contract.
Shortly after this?
Yeah, towards the end of my career, I signed a New Japan Pro Wrestling with Sean McCulley did the negotiating for that. And Fujita was one of them. And it was a work because there was escapes. It was a full work. I beat him by some weird kick over him and took his back, and it was like. And then the one before that was, I did awesome. The guy did a suplex on me. I went with it so good that I sold the hell out of that thing. So, but there was rope escapes.
Kimo, I know you get approached a lot by doing interviews. I know we've been pestering you for a few years. And cool. No, dude. And you know what? I think you did the math. You've seen a few of our reels and stuff like that. You did the math, and man, you're a stand-up dude, man. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to tell you what, you being protective about your image and who you communicate with and who you put your name on. I think that's what you're supposed to be doing at this stage. Right on. You really are. Otherwise, you're entertaining somebody that has no idea what they're talking about. I think you're doing the right thing.
You guys know what this is what Rogan knows too. You guys are in the head of the fighters during the match, exactly where they're at. I mean, that's pretty right on, bro. You know, I mean, that's
Kimo. I met you on Main Street. I met you on Main Street in 1994. Me and my brother approached you for a picture. You were a gentleman to us back then. This is the height of your fame. You took time away from the pretty girls trying to get your attention and paid attention to us. And I will forever appreciate that. You're a good guy. You're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Kimo, one day, I mean, are you still in Huntington Beach or where are you at?
No, I'm in LA, right by LAX. Yeah.
Next time, you're right by LAX?
Yep, right by the airport. No excuses, brother.
At some point, I'd love to grab some lunch with you, man. I really would. It'd really mean a lot to me.
Same here.
Awesome. Kimo, you're an absolute gentleman, man. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care, man. Yeah. Damn, Joey, we
finally got him. We finally got Kimo. I mean, the dude lives 45 minutes from me, but it took us 3 years to get him.
Yeah. All right. We're doing a GoFundMe.
Of course we are.
Do you see this sticker right here?
Come on, the swag, $10. How can you turn down that deal?
See that right there?
By the way, it's the only time we've ever asked you for money, and it's not for us.
Yeah. No, it really is. So there's going to be some changes. Joey and I briefly talked about it. I'm going to be talking with an editor probably tomorrow. Our changes on YouTube, we're probably going to have a second channel dedicated to clips, one channel dedicated to long form. That long form is going to be very limited in regards to how much is on there. If you want to see, you want to go to Apple, you want to go to Spotify, currently that's going to be okay. That's going to be the full library. But our YouTube is probably going to have 25, 35, max 50 long form interviews. And we're going to keep it that way. We're going to keep it that way. And you can either watch it in real time, but if you want to do a deep dive on the library, go to Spotify. It's much more advantageous for you guys to be over there than it is on YouTube. And the algorithm is actually hurting us because we have too many videos.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to parse it out, because I know we've got some monster clips on this channel that are going to be moved to the other channel. And, there's going to be a start over period, but it is what it is. Yeah, no, we're creating a second channel, something that we had initially before an old partner had it taken down and never to be returned, along with the old videos. We're also going to be revisiting some of the interviews where the videos were lost and are never returning. And Joey,
so the good news is we can do those over again.
Absolutely.
We can get a fresh interview with those guys.
And with all of the information that you and I have compiled, there's actually fresh questions in there, although the outline remains the same, kind of like the rough outline of it. The coloring and shading in between the outline is going to be a little bit different. So it's going to be good. But we need you guys to go to the GoFundMe. It's going to be pinned in the comment section. Joey, I think your intro to this, you gotta have it. Start with it, dude. It is what it is. Joey, I think we're recording tomorrow. Mac Danzig. I'm gonna try again to be a pest to Keith Hackney.
God, that guy's been playing cat and mouse with us for at least 3 years, because I've been involved for 3 years.
Since the very first day.
Okay, so 5 years he's been cat and mouse. Okay. Jesus Christ. Can I just tell him I got an air conditioning problem?
Yeah.
Will he take our call then?
That's what I'm saying. Joey, absolute pleasure, brother. Tomorrow, I'll confirm the time. I'll shoot you a text.
See you tomorrow.
Take care, buddy.